Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second unofficial / official episode of the Soul Purpose podcast. I am here today with the lovely Tams from Soul Stories. So Tams is one of my Australian friends, and we met about 5 years ago at the Victorian Arts Centre Market, for those of you who are familiar with Melbourne. And I was there with my friend Lauren, and we were just wandering around, just looking at all of the different stalls and so on. And we came across Tams' stall. Now, if you're familiar with Soul Stories, you know that Tams' store is this beautiful, bright, colourful combination of these beautiful little soul story characters. And there's pictures and cards and calendars and tote bags and so many different things, even little creature soul stories now that you can purchase from her. And what really struck me about Tam's work was that she has this uncanny ability to write and draw what you're feeling that you can't express. And for me, it was something that, because 5 years ago, I just left the corporate space, I just started my healing business, and all of these emotions and things were going on at the time. And I found Tam's work, and there I was, right in front of myself in these cards. And so we got to talking. And 5 years later, here we are now talking with you. So welcome, Tams. It's so lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. I'm just so honoured to be a part of your space and where you are right now. As we just chatted before, that just seeing you from 5 years ago as to where you are now, it's just incredible. I'm just so excited to have seen and been a part of your journey from there to now. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. We were reflecting on, how we've watched each other grow up effectively, in our own businesses from when, Tams moved back to Melbourne from living overseas in France.
Yes.
And, there's a whole other life of dancing and wonder that, sits in that part of your life. But, essentially, the last 5 years has been such a significant period of growth for both of us. And, we've maintained contact largely through Soul Stories, as well as through, our own soul sister connection that was just apparent right from the get-go.
That's right.
So for those that are wondering and would love to hear about, can you share with us what Soul Stories actually is and what it's all about?
This is a tricky part. I find it really difficult to define what Soul Stories is, but they're basically everybody's stories, all the beautiful, broken, happy, sad pieces of our life that have come to me in all different ways, whether people have shared them with me, a little bit of my own make-believe. I sort of wrap them all up in a particular style and give them back to people in the shape of what Soul Stories is, which is usually particular words and these little creatures that are very fluid and soft and round, that represent the soul, because sometimes the stories can be a little bit hard or a little bit broken, and this seems to make it more gentle and bearable. But there are a lot of happy stories as well too that are very, very deep emotion within the stories.
It's true. It is this beautiful, almost like a dichotomy sometimes between, the extreme sadness in some situations of the words, the extreme happiness, and these beautiful little creatures who just seem to embody whatever it is that the words are conveying and suggesting.
That's right. Exactly. Just like you said. Yes.
Yeah. So where did it come from? What made Soul Stories start?
Well, right from the very beginning, I won't say too much because it's currently my introduction in my book that I'm working on.
Yes, we're going to talk about this.
Yes, but from the very I think a lot of it comes from just for some reason I was very fascinated with beautiful words at a young age. I was really taken by quotes and poetry and anything that just represented really something expressive in that respect. And I used to write, birthday cards. I love birthdays. That was my thing. I could remember anyone's and everyone's birthday. So I'd copy these, quotes and poetry and put them inside each card. And then sort of down the track, I just started to, write my own little nice little sayings and words, just to friends and family, didn't go anything further than that. And then I just started jotting down more and more in my notebook, and that becomes sort of like a daily habit or a ritual. And and then even further down the track, I was very much like, oh, if I wanted to illustrate these, how would I go about it? And I can't draw, so I would research around. Back then I think internet had just come on, so I was researching internet and going to different art galleries and Googling illustrators, and I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. And so, pick up the old pen and paper and oh my gosh, my first drawings are hysterical. They're just the funniest things. And it basically, from not being able to draw, whatever, I developed my own style. So I can draw in that respect. I can draw my own way to figure out what soul stories is, and that's how they kind of evolved or were created, I suppose.
Yeah, so I've just realized that behind you, I don't know how I didn't see this before, but you have an example of what a soul from a soul story looks like. Is that a piece that's in development right now, or is that complete?
No, that's in the middle of type thing. So yeah.
How exciting.
I know, and it's very funny. Like when I create my soul stories on with soft pastels and pencils and watercolors, I very much plan it out and sketch it out and really make it sort of perfect. Whereas when I'm working with oils, I have no idea what's going to happen until I pick up the brushes and paint, and it just comes out. And there's no prep as to sketching something first and working something out. It's just a completely different.
Just this deeply intuitive channeling.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
so that's really interesting. Lots of
so
fun.
what purpose does soul stories serve for you as the creator?
Okay. So for me, my sort of visions and goals in life right now is to help heal and inspire people. And that came from words and my illustrations. And essentially it's through these illustrations and words that I want to help people and help them heal or get excited about something or help them express something. But now it's like, how else can I do that? Whether it's through a talk or collaborating on something, holding space, just listening. It comes in all shapes and forms, but essentially it's through my words and illustrations. And I guess I have so much feedback from people, how it really helps them enough to continue what I'm doing and to reassure me that I'm on the right track. And it gives me so much joy as well. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And I must say, as a person who's given, so many of your cards and tote bags to, people, friends in New Zealand have them, friends over here have them, friends back home have them. Like the joy that someone experiences when you give that to them, and you as the giver get to see and then pass back to you as the creator. Like there's so much joy that gets created, even if it's a sad piece, even if it's a piece that's helping someone to recover from, you know, a broken heart or the loss of a loved one or something like that. Like the joy that they get when they realize that how they feel is written on a page in front of them. I don't know that you can measure that.
I know, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I totally understand. It's like it's their story and they're just giving it back to them and they're like, oh, this is for me. This is written for me. This is...
Yeah. And this makes whatever I'm experiencing in my soul right now make sense. And it makes it okay.
Bearable, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something that's really beautiful about that. And I don't know that I've ever seen it and witnessed it, you know, in that particular form before. I think what you do is so unique in that way.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind. I must say I have a big inspiration, which I've felt that from another artist. His name's Brian Andreas. He's from America. And even though our illustrations are completely different, he has particular words where I've just gone, oh, wow, I can feel that so much. So he's a big inspiration of mine as to giving me the push to go, I want to be able to create kind of feelings like that and to touch people and help them and inspire them. So,
yeah.
So yeah.
So is there anything that you're welcome. Is there anything that you draw on when you're writing these soul stories? Like, do you draw on your own experience, or is it just something that kind of lands, you know, in the moment when you're, I don't know, like at a cafe and all you've got access to is a napkin, you're like, oh, I have to write that down right now? Or is it some wonderful combination of the two?
Yes, it's both. It's like I could be driving in the car and I'm like, oh, and I just like grab my phone and I'll turn on the audio record and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Got that one. But other times it'll be like this one little thing that I might be going through and then I'll take just a tiny bit of that, not necessarily the whole thing, because sometimes I have people checking in going, Tam, are you okay? You know, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. But I've just taken the essence of that and then turned it into a whole completely different story, but still with that little core piece of maybe what I'm going through, but not necessarily a replica of my story. And then I've taken other people's story and mixed them up with my story and to be able to like really feel their story. And it's what you said, it's a mixture of like myself, other people's, and then quick, get that napkin out, write it down.
And I love what you said about like weaving your story with other people's story, because I feel like, you know, because I know that like me, like you're a yoga fan, and you know the concept that they talk about in yogic philosophy that we're all one, and the way that you're able to weave people's stories together really acknowledges that and embraces that and makes that this real tangible thing that people can experience, like, because their story is someone else's story, that is someone else's story, that is someone else's story. It's so many different parts and places of the world all at once. And it's like, it blows your mind a little bit, because you think, well, how could all of these people be having this same experience at the same time? But yet they are. And your words really paint that picture.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly true. I think we forget too often how we are experiencing the same different, slightly different, of course, but very much the same stories. And I guess when I am creating pieces, I immediately try to put myself in another person's shoes and to really feel that feeling and then give it back to them in that respect. So that's exactly right about the whole same but different story.
Yeah, it really is. It's yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
So I'm curious then, so because I know that you have, like, you've got cards, you've got pictures, you've got tote bags. Please tell me you're doing like a next level once this lot is sold out, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because I love them. I actually have, it was sitting on the chair over there, but it's my current yoga bag that I take.
Oh.
It still gets used pretty much on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But I know that you're expanding a little bit further now into a book.
Yes.
So I really would love to hear about where the inspiration for this book came from and what it's all about.
Well, I feel that with soul stories, everything has sort of evolved either accidentally or by sort of inspiration from other people or demand from other people. Whereas a book is something that I personally have always wanted to do. So I've always put it on the back burner because I've felt that that's a little bit not selfish, but like it's really a big want and dream of mine. So I'm like, let's attend to everybody else first in that respect. And yeah, so I guess right now, this year, I was like, I really want to like start. I've been saying for the last 5 years, I'm going to start that book. I'm going to start that book. But this year, I was like, I'm going to start that book. I really am. And come April, I had I was given the term off. I also teach at a wonderful dance school called Transit Dance, and I was needed last term. I said, that's it. I'm locking myself in my studio and I'm going to start that book. So that's where that's come from in that respect. And it's been coming for a long time.
Yeah. So what's it about?
It's a collection of, so it's not necessarily me writing about a story as so about myself, but over the last 16 years, I've gone through many stories, and I've chosen out around about 100, and I've made sure I've sort of selected as many positive, happy ones and love romantic ones and sort of sad, melancholy ones to mix them all up. So it's a book that can be special and relate to many people out there who are searching for something in that respect. So,
yep.
And I mean, whether you are in that sad space, eventually in time you can go back to the book and you're like, oh, that space has passed now, and I can now relate more to these, more positive or inspiring or love moment type things. So depending on where you are, it should be interesting.
Yes. And I feel like it's one of those books too where, you could, those books where you can just ask the book a question, you open the book up and the book kind of gives you the answer. I feel like it'd be one of those books too where you're like, well, I'm not really sure where I'm at today. I'm gonna consult the Soul Stories book to help me to figure out where I'm at, or this thing's going on in my life. I can't speak to how I feel right now, so I'm going to consult, like the Oracle book.
That's right. You're so true. That's lovely.
Yeah, and you might actually get an answer that you don't expect, right? Like you might be feeling a bit more on the sad scale of things, but then you open the book up and the book's like, actually, no, you feel like this. And I feel like it kind of has the power to shift your perspective and look at it and go, well, yeah, like I'm curious, like I wonder how it could be this.
Yeah.
Rather than
that's right,
that.
I'm very much into the big lucky dip. Well, when I present my gift cards to say a wholesale shop, my difference compared to what normal gift cards are like, where a person will present maybe 5 designs and have like 10 of each designs, whereas I'm very much different. Well, I present like a box of gift cards, but I'm like, they're all completely different. So you can either go through the box and find your story, or as you said, you lucky dip into it and like, this is what I need to reflect on, or this is where I need to go, or just hold space and just sit with that story. So
yeah. I do remember, going through your cards and then just being like, nope, I'm just going to trust my intuition. I'm just going to be like, this one. Just doing it that way, which is, I don't know, in some respects, it's also more fun to do it that way too, I think, because it's like, it is lucky dip. It is, what am I going to get? What message does my soul have to deliver to me right now through your work?
This is right.
So who would you say the book is for?
I don't know. I mean, it can be for anyone. Well, not for anyone. I would say like late teenagers until 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds. I don't know. Like,
Yep.
it's for people who find it at the right time. That's all.
Yes, I love that. People who find it at the right time. Because it is one of those things, I think, that you do come across at the right time. I know I came across your work at the right time in my life, and it's definitely helped me. I can't even tell you how many times, since then. But I feel like certainly from, if I reflect on, myself, and certainly the women and men that I've given some of your pieces of work to, they're very much these deeply empathic people, empathic and empathetic people, because they feel really deeply and they see really, really deeply, and they just, I'm not sure, there's the way that they experience life is across this whole spectrum. Like, they're so aware of sadness, they're so aware of happiness, and they're so aware of everything that sits in between as well. And maybe that's part of the reason why they're not often able to give expressions to how they feel, because they've lived so much of the available spectrum, and then probably even more than that as well. Yep. That, to me, that seems to encapsulate certainly my own reflection on people who are attracted to your work, but also, the people that I've given it to, but also perhaps maybe too, like what I see in you as, as a person and as a soul, as the creator of this work as well. Do you feel like that's accurate?
Yes, that is just as I struggle with certain expressing myself like this vocally. I'm not very good, because exactly what you said, it's just so big and so hard to articulate exactly what you want to say and how you want to say it. But when I get to sort of create it with words and write it down and illustrations, I can really pinpoint those ways of saying it. And people, as you described, yes, they're attracted to that, and it's for those people that are wanting to, that have softness and compassion, or want to learn, or want to give more, or feel more, or
yes,
relate to that in that respect.
I feel like there's some sort of like tagline emerging out of this, like, when there's no words, there's soul stories.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true.
I feel like that yeah. Kind of just encapsulates all of it, basically.
Yeah.
So what's that called? Are we allowed to know what it's called?
Yes, I have like a very mock cover. It won't look like this, but it will look like this. It's called Wild Heart Sunseeker. And people are very much like, Wild Heart Sunseeker, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Well,
what does it mean to you?
Yes, I would say with my stories, I rarely tell people what stories mean, because every story means something different to somebody else. They translate it in different ways, and when people tell me what the story means to them, I'm like, oh wow, I never thought of it that way. Then it's really interesting. But what Wild Heart Sunseeker means to me is about remembering your heart in a play, raw, fun way, and hanging on to that. And Sunseeker representing light, whatever light that is for you, hanging and always seeking the positive, the light, the sun, the things that make you happy in life. So yeah, nothing too deep and meaningful other than hanging on to or searching for the play and fun in your life and the light and respect.
Which is a nice reminder, because I think so many of us these days, we forget to do that, and we get so caught up in, you know, the day-to-day stress and comings and goings of our lives that, I mean, you know, here in Canada it's August 1, there in Australia it's August 2. When did August happen? What happened from January to July? You know, all those months where you're like, oh my goodness, the end of the year is so near. When did that happen?
Yeah.
You know, it feels different to the other months. And I feel like, you know, the title of this book is a gentle reminder to always come back to that state of play, and too, like that state of joy, even in the sadness, because our natural state as human beings, our souls, is joy. You know, which might be hard to believe, because so many of us these days are used to experiencing so much pain.
Yes.
And yet I feel like your expressions and the drawings of your creatures allow people to process that pain, to then be able to step back into that joy, or to remind them that joy exists and that they can coexist as well. It's not necessarily just one or the other, but they can live together side by side.
Yeah, that's so true. That's exactly right.
So how are you going about getting this book out there? Because I know that you're doing a campaign right now to help to fund the book, so I'd love to hear some details about that.
Yes, I'm currently crowdfunding this book because I've decided to self-publish. So many years ago, I found a book on self-publishing in Australia, which was really difficult to find. But this awesome guy called Ewan Mitchell, he created this awesome book, and there was either two routes you could go down: either find a publisher or self-publish. And to find a publisher in this day and age is really hard, which is by all means not possible, but
right.
I was very much to wanting to have control's not a very good word, but I wanted to really have this book created exactly how I wanted it to be. And with publishing, sometimes you lose a little bit of the rights and control as to how it will look and how it will be expressed. And so with Soul Stories, it's very very deep within me that I want it to be expressed exactly how I want it to be portrayed and read by the world in that respect. So yes, so self-publishing, and the reason I can understand now, the reason why people want to be published is because to self-publish it can be very, very time consuming and also very, very expensive, hence the crowdfund at this stage. But that's only because also it's very expensive because I'm deciding to do more of an art book, which is full colour and a certain amount of pages, and the speciality paper that I want to use too, because I'm very much into texture and
yes,
aesthetically pleasing to the eye in that respect.
Oh, it's going to be so amazing! I can't wait to have tangible copy in my hands.
I know. Seriously, it's surreal. As I mentioned before, I've kind of been freaking out about everything up until, seriously, I started it around about April. I mean, it's been started a long time before that, but where I really was putting things into action. But what are we on? We're on August 2 now. So only seriously a couple of days ago was the first time I could really breathe and say, this is going to be nice and I can do this. So that's a lot of leaping into the unknown and trusting the process along the way. But I've had so many people come out of the woodworks, old and new, that have jumped on board this crowdfund and are just inspiring me and encouraging me and supporting me along the way. It's just blown me away at how many people are wanting this to happen as much as I am. So
yes, and I'm happy to say that I am one of those people.
Yes.
Without a doubt. So where is the campaign at right now, and how much how much longer is there left to go for people to contribute to this amazingness?
Yeah, we're nearly there. I think I have about 10 days to go. I proposed 3 styles of the book, and I'm about 60% of the first style. So I think around about, I want to say, this is a scary number for me, it's around about $8,500, and my proposal is 13 Australian dollars. So I'm not far away. I mean, 5% of that goes to the crowdfunding platform, so I haven't allowed for that as well, incorporated that into the fee.
Right.
And yeah, so not far, but and that's incredible. Like that's just wild that many people have jumped on board to help me get to that point. So
yeah.
So no matter what happens, I mean, the project doesn't happen or get funded unless I reach my mark. But no matter what, just say I don't get there, I will absolutely, cover the difference no matter what. But ideally, there's so much. I mean, I'm, not working for the last, few months to focus on this and everything like that and put everything into it. So,
yes.
So it means everything at this stage.
Yes, like it's one of those things where it is happening regardless of any outcome. Like it's happening.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
So where can people go to jump on board and help you with this?
So I've launched on an Australian platform called Possible. So not possible, but with Z's instead of S's. So possible.com. So and I guess if you look up Wild Heart Sunseeker or Soul Stories or Tams, you'll be able to find the project there. So,
yeah. We will actually put some links underneath this video as well, so people can click straight through and help. If you are one of those, and I suspect a lot of people who will be, if you are one of those super empathic people who needs words put to how you feel and your experiences and so on and so forth, I know you're going to love this book. And I know you've got varying levels of donation levels that come with different things, whether it be like 1 copy of the book or 2 copies of the book. And I think at the moment as well, you've got an opportunity for people to win a copy of the book, either for a friend or for a library or something like that too.
Yeah, just by if you want to pledge, $2, $5 or anything, then you'll go into this lucky draw, and I'm giving away a book to you or to whoever you want to choose to give it to in that respect. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, I have my fingers crossed that it can be fully crowdfunded.
I know.
That would be so incredibly amazing.
Yes, it's still a little bit of time to go, so it's possible, absolutely.
I like to play on words there. It's possible. Anything is possible.
Yes.
Okay, so if people want to get in touch with you or find you, where is the best platform or way for them to reach out?
I'm everywhere, so you can find me on my website, Tams at soul-stories.com, or I'm on Facebook, or I'm on Instagram. Hundreds of different ways. So.
Excellent. We'll pop some of those links underneath this recording as well, so that makes it very easy for you to reach out to Tams if your soul so calls for you to do so. And truly, I hope that it does, because her work will undoubtedly change the way that you see and experience things in the same way that it has for me.
Oh, that's really kind. Thank you.
So I think that brings us to the end of our conversation for today then. Thank you so much for your time and your energy and your lovely, happy, smiling face, and sharing the story of Soul Stories with us and allowing us some insight into your soul purpose work and indeed the direction that's taking now with the writing of this book. I really appreciate it.
And it comes right back at you, Kimberly. Thank you so much for reaching out to me in this time to say, let's do this. Let's share with the world what you do and where you're at. And I can't I'm honoured to be a part of your project and what you're doing now. So thank you.
You're welcome. Bless. Thanks, Tams.
Thank you.